Hi, Bob Soklos with the Cloud Platform COE. Today, I just want to talk for just a few minutes about why SAP invented Cloud Platform in the first place. If you've been an SAP customer for a while, you've seen lots and lots of architecture charts and charts that show all the different functionality that we have. But I think a lot of times we don't spend enough time talking about how do you maximize the value of your investment in SAP stuff. Since we were founded almost 50 years ago, we've believed only one thing, and that is that the whole must be greater than the sum of the parts if you're going to achieve maximum value from your enterprise systems. That is absolutely the key to making everything work better within your enterprise, right? Today, we always talk about data as the new oil, right? Data is going to be the valuable resource that propels us into the future. But when you acknowledge this problem, you realize that it is actually a very large problem. Here I've got a picture of the sun and Mercury represents the size of your operational transactional data. And the problem is, of course, that there's lots of big data out there. But that big data is crucially important because it helps you identify what's going well and what could be improved within your enterprise. So when I travel around the country and I ask this question, everybody generally agrees. Must you leverage all your data well to remain highly competitive in just a few years? Most people say yes. And if you say yes, the first step is that you have to integrate what's happening with transactions with the big data that's out there. But there's a whole new planet of data that we're talking about as well, right? And that is experience data. You want to understand how your customers are experiencing how they interface with your company. Also, you need to understand how your employees are, right? As well as your partners. And how is your brand tracking? All these things matter as well. So now you have to integrate not only operational data and big data, you also have to integrate your experience data. Of course, there's a huge amount of noise. And how do you find the signal in the middle of that noise is crucially important, right? The truth is no human can do that. So you have to use advanced technologies like machine learning and AI and chatbots and predictive. All these things come together so that you can find what's important, the important correlations within all the data that are going to make a difference. Ultimately, what we're trying to produce is the why, right? Why are things happening in my business and what can I do in time to make a difference, in time to act? That is how you convert all this data and create superior value. We can't forget also that we have to manage it professionally because lots and lots of different privacy regulations are coming on board, whether we're talking about GDPR in Europe or we're talking about California's privacy or all the other things that are coming down the pike, right? So when you realize that you have to take advantage of your data to become a more competitive enterprise, the next question becomes, how do you get from point A to point B? We got to look at ground zero. Where are we at today? And the truth is, we have a very complex problem because we've been a successful company. The longer you've been around, the more successful you've been, the more different departments and different constituencies added applications to your overall system. And they threw that over the wall to the IT department, right? And IT was supposed to make it work. So you took bubble gum and duct tape and you tried to make sure that everything worked well together. The problem is that we don't want to we want to learn from the past, right? We don't want to repeat the same mistakes, or as I like to call them, compromises. The reason we had compromises is that technology wasn't ready for the real-time world that we're ready for now, right? Over the years, technology evolved. We went from just focusing on the back office to the PC server era to software as a service to where we are today, where everybody seems to have an ATM in their pocket with their iPhone or iPad, right? So how do you get from point A? We can't avoid the fact that we have a point A to point B, which is this real-time enterprise that takes advantage of all its data. I think we need a new playbook for information technology. When I look at this chart, what I really see is like the insides of a Swiss watch. There's lots of gears, there's lots of things, and when everything is working perfectly fine, we can report our numbers to Wall Street on time. But we're very scared to change it, right? You change one gear and you're worried that suddenly you might break something else in the system because everything within the Swiss watch has to be engineered together and it has to be very tightly coupled. The new model looks a lot more like the watches on my wrist right now, right? Are you ever concerned that if you download the new bus schedules app for your watch, your Apple Watch, that it's going to break core timekeeping? Or if you download a new fitness app to keep track of your new runs? No, of course not. Why is that? Because there's secure connectors, there's APIs, there's everything to make sure that the core functionality of the watch, whether we're talking about calendar or messaging or timekeeping, is unaffected by all these applications that are put on the watch to surround that core, right? Well, this is exactly the same situation that we're in with enterprise computing. Clayton Christensen who was a Harvard professor that was very famous for books on disruption. But he talked about the fact that no matter what kind of creative destruction we're talking about, there's a moment where leaders have to take a little bit of a leap of faith. When something makes total common sense, you've got to adopt the new model. And there's always going to be pervasive reasons to not make the leap. But those are the people that one day wake up and find that the world has passed them by, right? Here's the good news. SAP can absolutely help because we've got a unique experience in our own shop. We kind of dug our own problem, right? We went shopping. We bought Concur, we bought Fieldglass, we bought SuccessFactors, and all these things turned into these large-scale transformation projects on the back end. In the meantime, 90,000 SAP employees didn't want to wait. We wanted everything to go mobile. We wanted to have a common Fiori dashboard. We wanted to be able to use advanced technologies like chatbots and machine learning all on the front end. Therefore, for those reasons, we decided to introduce SAP Cloud Platform to be able to separate the back office transformations that take a while from the front end innovations that all of our employees were demanding. What really happened next was kind of cool. We took all our best practices, all our best technologies, and we snapped it together into the business technology platform. And Cloud Platform is far and away the biggest piece of this, right? But what we did is we took the best way, and now we told our Ariba developers to start doing it this way, and our Concur developers to start doing it this way, and our core S4 developers to start doing it this way, right? We took our best technologies and we created a product that we realized our 400,000 plus customers would also need. That is Cloud Platform, right? It's everything you need to abstract and keep that core software pristine and upgradable while you innovate at the edge, right? That allows you to do the original reason that SAP was founded. The thing that we believe in the most is that the whole's got to be greater than the sum of the parts. It also lets you customize apps that you buy off the shelf to meet your requirements exactly right? That's what we call extend. It almost as a byproduct, it lets us innovate. It lets us build at the edge because all these technologies have come together in a modular sense. So now you can create the next mobile app that your truck drivers need, or you can create the next predictive app or whatever you need, right? It's the perfect environment now because it doesn't connect directly to the core. There's an abstraction layer. And then lastly, as I mentioned before, you can't tackle this world of experience data and big data and transactional data and make everything work together without these advanced technologies. Because things have gotten modular, you can now snap in the best of machine learning, the best of predictive, so that your entire system benefits. So maybe the best way to think about this is through an analogy, right? Because how does Cloud Platform make you ridiculously more productive? So imagine that you walk into the room and there's this huge conference table and your boss looks at you and says, you know what? We've got these impressive visitors coming in there and I want them to be amazed at the kind of work we do. I would like you to build this huge Lego city that just covers this entire conference table. And by the way, you only have 1 week to get it done. So my question to you is, if you had this huge project, you had a deadline, which is what we always have in business, right? Would you start with pre-built kits that help you build a city? Or would you start with the lowest possible tool, the Lego itself, and build it from scratch with no plan? I think the answer is, this is the difference between starting with SAP Cloud Platform and starting with an infrastructure player like Azure or Amazon Web Services, right? They will let you build anything that you want, but you got to start with the lowest level Legos. So what does Cloud Platform look like? These purple items on my chart here are our pre-built Lego kits. That's what they really are, right? If you need to create a new portal that is offered in 4 different languages, that has some predictive capabilities, that has some built-in analytics, and has an underlying database, all those things are 85 to 90% written for you already. You use the tools in yellow to make sure that everything works together and you finish it out. But this is how you can deliver innovations quickly. This runs on top of your favorite infrastructure, whether it's AWS or Azure or Google Cloud Platform, and it lets you integrate not only all the SAP solutions, but also all the non-SAP solutions as well. Ultimately, what's different about us, and it comes down to one word, is that we offer content. You don't start from scratch. You start with content to accomplish the job. A coworker of mine, Scott Dillon, says it this way. It's like, look, we all provide a certain level of functionality in the cloud. Maybe imagine a DVD player in the cloud, right? And Google provides you the ability to play a DVD, and so does Azure, and so does AWS, and so does Cloud Platform, right? The difference is that we're actually giving you a movie, a number of scenes that you can put together to create your own movie, but a lot of the things that you need are already done. So Gartner believes that there's going to be more change in the next 5 years than in the last 50, and we know how much change there's been in the last 50. So perhaps the most important thing is this quote from Charles Darwin. It's not the strongest or most intelligent species that survives and thrives. It's really the species that is most adaptable to change. It's an absolute rule that I think is incredibly important for companies. If you think about where we are in the adoption curve, over 14,000 companies are currently using Cloud Platform. It is leaving the early adopter stage, it's absolutely becoming the early majority, but this is not a curve that you want to be late on. We recommend that you put SAP Cloud Platform on your favorite infrastructure. The reason for this is that we're good at different things. SAP Cloud Platform is best for business processes. It's how you get technology to change your business process for the better. These guys are great at things like adding more storage or adding more compute or adding a second data center. It's IT challenges that they can take care of for you. We take care of the things that matter to the business. So let me give you a couple examples of customers that are absolutely making great leaps in this regard. The first one is Vestas. Vestas builds more of these wind generating electric turbines than anybody else on earth, right? They were completely paper-based. Their CEO was so frustrated that everything took so long and so many mistakes happened. Through design thinking and partnering with Invokers and Apple and SAP, they were able to abstract that legacy core and start innovating at the edge. And 8 months later, their entire world is now based on iPads, iPhones, and everything in their world now has the ability to be seen by everybody that's trying to improve their process. It's an incredible transformation, and it happened without changing that core. The core is on its own schedule right now. A second example is the San Francisco 49ers. They had the problem of 70,000 fans would show up, and for 4 hours, they would have to serve them as best as they could. The way it used to work is they used to get reports 49 hours later to see how did last week go, and then they would try to make adjustments for next week. By taking Cloud Platform and integrating 15 different data sources, they were able to see in real time with an analytics dashboard how things are going. And if there was a problem on the west side, they could hustle people over to the west side with instantaneous text messages to all their associates. As their VP put it, it's an absolutely fundamental shift in how they operate. They've gone from reactive to real time, and it opens up an incredible new world of possibilities. Another great example is Murphy Oil. They used to have 15 different systems at this remote operations center that would somehow track all the different tasks that were going on in the enterprise on any given day. They integrated all those systems. They rolled it out in just 10 weeks, and now all of a sudden they have experienced a 15 to 20% increase in productivity. As Rajesh put it, they've absolutely changed everything because they were able to combine all these different technologies, both SAP and non-SAP, to solve that business problem. Love's Travel Stops, one of the biggest operators of travel stops in the country, decided they wanted to develop faster. So they took on Cloud Platform primarily for the reason of developing quicker. Then they added rapid application development, low-code, no-code stuff on top of that. They realized that they could go incredibly fast. As Mike McCain put it, it's now taking them, a project that would have taken them 6 months in the past is only taking them 1 month. They're finally able to keep up with the speed that is necessary for the growing application backlog. Look, we've got a lot of customer stories, right? If you want to see just 8, I've created a little website called SCP Examples where you can go and watch 8 customers talk about their experience. So here's the bottom line. SCP helps our customers maximize the return you get from your enterprise systems. That's really why we're here. We absolutely let you take that core systems and expand it so everything works well together, right? The 5 key takeaways are pretty simple, right? We help you simplify that complexity hairball while you innovate faster. We help you keep the core secure, pristine, and upgradable. You get to do fabulous integration of not only SAP, but non-SAP and the data associated with that so that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. It helps you with this future world where there's going to be some stuff that's potentially still on-premise and then multiple clouds out there all working well together. And because it's modular, it enables this era of the intelligent enterprise. If you want more information, it's available on this. I have my own website. It's called yscp.com. You can also download my paper. It's at sapwhitepaper.com. But this is it. This is basically SCP in a nutshell. Most large companies have these complex, large systems that aren't working well together. Because of our experience, we created a very unique cloud platform that helps you simplify systems and innovate and adapt to change like a startup. Thanks.